welcome back to Neon Trash's October Daze. Today is my pick, Tommy the Hammer. You guys know I love high fashion horror, European movies, so today I thought we would check out Roman Polanski's Repulsion. Have you guys heard of this film?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Are you, Olivia? You're like...
Nope, never heard of it.
No. Any opinions on director Roman Polanski?
Talented director, bad person.
Right. We can take a deep dive into that after the movie, especially if there are some people here that don't know that director's particular past or his current controversies. I never seen this movie here. From what I gather, this is his first English language film, and a lot of people say it's his best. It's psychedelic horror at its most abstract. So, you guys know this routine. Check out the trailer. Peep that shit. We'll be right back, guys. Bye.
This is Carol Ledoux. Young, beautiful, desirable. Men found her irresistible. But something is happening to her. Something that she doesn't quite understand. And soon she will be swept up in a frantic fury of repulsion. Repulsion, a frightening film that takes the everyday world and distorts it.
To be with you all the time.
Repulsion, a terrifying look at the dark side of innocence, losing control. Repulsion, a shocking plunge into the nightmare world of a young woman's sensual fantasies.
Just a little kiss between friends, huh? Come on.
Guys, so we just got done watching the movie Repulsion by Roman Polanski, and I feel like you can't say that man's name without unbagging some baggage from his career.
Indeed.
For me, like when I first saw his work, it was with Rosemary's Baby, and it was before the controversy of him as a director kind of came to light. So like I never went into this man's work initially when I was younger with the controversy at the forefront. I was just watching a creepy movie about a woman being manipulated by a satanic cult, you know, and it really spoke to me, still speaks to me. All these years later though, I mean, you can't ignore the director. The movie Repulsion, I think it's kind of an interesting experience. I mean, the whole movie is from this one woman's perspective, and yeah, sure, you get these other side characters, and for the most part, they're kind of irrelevant in terms of a character study, but they all pertain to this woman's psychological state and how you kind of culminate with her as an isolated individual. So I thought this was all very fascinating. I really liked the use of positive and negative black and white imagery. I liked the sound effects. I liked the music. I like the style in terms of a time capsule element, and you know, overall I gotta say, in terms of a mid-1960s cult film, I enjoyed it, but it's not perfect. It ain't no Rosemary's Baby.
I actually enjoyed this a lot, and I didn't know much about it, but after going through it, I guess you could say it was in my wheelhouse, maybe because like this is literally what I study every day. So it's like, and I feel like I can kind of get sick of like watching movies and shows about like what I study, because it's like I do it every single day, but it's like I actually really liked this because it was different than like mainstream or modern movies about this topic. So it was interesting, like as we went along, like using my knowledge to figure out kind of what was going on and what could happen next based on that.
I thought that this would be in my wheelhouse, but evidently I came away not really liking this that much. And I think, I mean, I'd say throughout this year I've been watching a lot more films from this era, and like I've seen other films that inject some discordant jazz to shake things up on the screen better than this, and I've seen other films that kind of look at identity and like the breakdown of your mental state more compellingly than this. It's a very competently shot film, like it looks really good, and so you're watching this breakdown, but like how invested am I? Like I'm like, this sucks for her, I feel for her, but I don't feel that much for her because I don't really know her, you know?
Not there.
And not every film is trying to get you to connect 100% with the character, but when you're spending an hour and 40 minutes of an hour and 40 minute long movie with one character, I kind of want to connect with them some way.
Man, I had no expectations going into this. I've actually not really seen any of Roman Polanski's work. Like, I already knew like how much of a scumbag this guy is. So like watching any of his movies never really appealed to me. You know, I mean, to be truthful, I mean, I was never a huge into like suspense and horror to begin with. Honestly, it's only like recently I've been starting to really get an appreciation for the genre. Like, you know, I mean, I've watched certain, you know, big name movies like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and stuff like that. Ghoulies, you know, I've seen a number of things like that, but you know, taking a real like deep dive into stuff like this is completely out of my wheelhouse. So I mean, I was, you know, interested to see it from that aspect. Like, hey, let's watch something that I normally wouldn't watch. Like, let's go ahead and do this. And like, it was an hour and 40 minutes of like wheel spinning to me. Like, there was just, it never got traction. It was just like, what is this? Who are these people? What is going on? Okay, like at any time it started to like gain any kind of traction at all, it immediately went away and it just kept on spinning.
I gotta say, like, I think Rosemary's Baby is one of the finest horror films of all time, and that's putting us, I'm able to put the man's sleazy aspects aside and just watch the movie for what it is, because I mean, there's a lot more to a film than just the director. I mean, there's actors involved, there's soundtrack composers, there's producers, there's people that know what's going on behind the scenes, there's people that don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I could give Repulsion a solid 6.5. Olivia?
I feel like I'm kind of the odd person out because, well, first I don't know who this director is. The only thing I know about him is that he did this movie. So
No, that's good though. Like, I like
yeah.
that. Yes.
And like I didn't read the back of the case before we went in, so like I kind of walked in blind. I had no idea. And like I kind of agree with Rocket how like it's kind of just a wheel spinning the whole time. Like I can see that, because it's like even when things did happen, it was kind of just like, okay, it wasn't like this dramatic scene like, oh my gosh, something's happening. It's like it was just like a wheel spinning. But like I appreciate like the cinematography, the plot, like all of that stuff like he said. But I think what really like kept me interested was the plot, because this is what I study. So I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because I kind of put my knowledge to use, even if it was just me thinking in my own head. So honestly, I would give this an 8. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Great. See?
So, yeah, I'm one of those people, I can usually put the skeeziness behind. I've watched a lot of movies from a lot of shitty people, and some of them I actually like. And you know, I've watched movies that feature things like rape and assault and terrible treatment of women, handled by men that you later learn did some of those things. But, and I'm saying, like, they at least handled the subject matter, I felt like, in a compelling way. I don't... Like, this already will probably leave a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths because it feels like a rapist lecturing you on, like, the struggles of women. But, like, it's just flat out not really that interesting. Like, it doesn't really... I don't know, it doesn't actually explore much of, like, the man side, which, like, I feel like a lot of the other problematic directors that I've watched films from that handle this subject matter do explore, like, the flawed aspect of the men and how terrible they are, and that's what makes them more compelling, because you're like, oh, here's someone that we learned did this shit, but it seems like he's actually, like, struggling with these personality traits. You don't really get that in this. So it's kind of just one note, and yeah, every time I thought it was gonna, like, stop spinning and, like, climax, it didn't. I think I'm gonna go with, because it is a well-shot, well-structured film, I guess, I'm gonna go just straight down the middle. I'm gonna go 5 out of 10.
I mean, BC, you read my mind there, honestly. Like, I can give this, you know, some stars from a technical aspect for the cinematography, soundtrack, like the actual physicalness of the movie, how it was made, you know, where it was made, great sets, you know, the actors were really good. But yeah, the movie itself, the subject matter was just not in my wheelhouse, but it was executed well enough. I could also give it a 5.
Fair enough. There you guys have it. That is our opinion on Repulsion. I feel like it is definitely a polarizing film, right down the middle. None of us really gave it, you know, that bottom of the barrel star count.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything that awful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was still enough to appreciate. I mean, if you're into films, like, you will find something to appreciate about this anyway.
At any rate, I hope we've been informative, motherfuckers. Until the next time, tune in to Neon Motherfucking Trash. Bye, guys.